Hello, everyone. It's me, Alternative Voice, again, and I would like to talk to you about a few things. More specifically, this video, as you can tell by the title, is addressed to the citizens of the People's Republic of China. This is just me, an American, trying to reach out to them. I recognize that this video may be banned in China if it gets enough popularity, and I don't know if YouTube is banned in China, but I'm pretty sure it is. I know it is in North Korea, but I'll have to check. If you see an error, feel free to correct me. Anyway, my what I have to say this to the Chinese people. Look, um, we have already, the United States and China have already fought in Korea. It was a bloody war that lasted 3 years. Nothing was gained and a whole lot was lost. I mean, you had hundreds of thousands of Chinese, close to 1 million, and North Koreans dead. You had tens of thousands of Americans and hundreds of thousands of North Koreans dead, not to mention the other UN allies. And the war pretty much ended exactly where it started, the 38th parallel, dividing North and South Korea. And those that do not learn history are doomed to repeat it, my friends. And keep in mind, Biden has declared that he will step in if Taiwan is invaded. This whole situation, from me to you, from one side of the Pacific to another, is just a whole big mess. And, you know, the consequences of a war between our two nations will be very dire for both sides. Regardless of who wins, it's gonna take years for our militaries and particularly economies to recover. You know, we are trading partners, and if we go to war, our economies will both be shattered, and it will be a disaster completely and totally. And regardless of who wins, because I mean, it's like, you know, our economies would just be torn apart because we both need each other. We're both dependent on each other. I know we're not the best of friends, but the fact to be told is we need to keep level heads throughout all of this. I know ships have been sailing really close together and all that stuff, but we really, really need to pump the brakes on this and cool the fuck down, because in a worst case scenario, it could lead to a nuclear exchange, and that would just be devastating for not only us but the whole world. And so far, you have so far that China doesn't have very many allies. It has Iran, it has Russia, and it has North Korea. The U.S. has all of NATO backing it, and Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and and very likely India. And as you know, India has a very huge population, and they can draw up huge manpower resources comparable to China's. And now I know for a fact that the U.S. cannot conquer China. In fact, I would say Beijing is pretty much the only capital that I have my doubts about the U.S. being able to take. No? But the fact is I know that the U.S. cannot conquer China. You've got way too much land mass and way too many people. I also know that you cannot even make a landing on our shore. I mean, there's just so many cases like this in history. The Roman Parthian Wars, the Turkish Wars, you know, all these and so on and so on, where these two adversaries go at it for decades or even centuries off and on. And you know, there's not a lot to be gained in these scenarios, and a whole lot that was lost. And don't think Taiwan will just roll over. That's not what happened in Ukraine. That is not what happened in Finland when the Soviet Union invaded, or in Chechnya or Afghanistan when the Soviet Union invaded. It did not happen for the U.S. It did not happen that way when the U.S. went to Vietnam, Iraq, or Afghanistan. Those people fought, and they fought back hard. And the best you can say about Iraq is that it was a Pyrrhic victory, which is what a invasion of Taiwan will probably, in a best case scenario, be for China. In a best case scenario for China. That's not saying you won't get pushed off, because the Taiwanese do not see themselves as part of your country, and 90% of them are favor Taiwan independence over reunification, and they will fight back, and they will fight back hard. And let's say you win. Let's say you quell the rebellious Taiwanese and beat back the evil Yankee imperialists. Then what? If you think you're going to get control of this semiconductor industry, think again, because although Taiwan has the semiconductor plants, they have to import a lot of the stuff to make them, and those imports are going to get cut off if you occupy Taiwan. And it's just, you're going to be left with a lot of people dead. I know about the one-child policy and the fact that you have often, in a lot of cases, have 4 grandparents, 2 parents, and 1 child. A lot of those children are going to be killed in Taiwan, regardless of whether you win or not, regardless of whether or not the U.S. intervenes. And you could very well lose this, and we could have a nuclear exchange, in which case everybody loses. The only winners will be rats and cockroaches. That being said, I'm not trying to, basically say my country can kick your country's ass or something like that. I'm just trying to be reasonable. I'm trying to come to come to find some middle ground where we can both agree. I think that, if we could just talk about our differences, this would be a much better world. And I'm just trying to do my part to reach out to you guys. And it's like, as I said before, it's like, if you think China's going to be able to get a hold of the semiconductor industry by invading Taiwan, think again. If you win, assuming you aren't thrown back across the Taiwanese Strait by a combined effort by the U.S. and its allies, you are going to be left with a Pyrrhic victory, because you're going to have to all that stuff that you destroyed in Taiwan, in the cities, you're going to have to rebuild them, and you're going to be dealing with a huge refugee crisis. And it's not going to be pretty for anyone involved, really. And it's like, remember what I said about the 4-2-1? It's like, that is, it's just, when those soldiers are killed, 4 grandparents and 2 parents are going to be left without their future caretaker, or maybe even their current caretaker. And that's going to cause even more problems, because I know about the one-child policy that existed in your country for decades and only ended about 2015, was it? But, you see, that's not something I want, and I hope that's not something you want. You know, our countries are intertwined, and I just hope that U.S. and Sino relations improve, because we don't need a third world war. Remember what Albert Einstein said. He said he didn't know what weapons World War III would be fought with, but he knew World War IV would be fought with sticks and stones. And frankly, I don't want this world to be reduced to Mad Max. I know it was a cool movie, but I don't know about you guys, but I like my video games. I like my TV. I like my Wi-Fi. Those things are awesome. And if a nuclear war happens, air conditioning, cell phones, Wi-Fi, video games, and TV, they all go away. And I don't want to live in that world. Thank you very much. Anyway, I wish you well across I wish everyone on both sides of the Pacific a good day, and I just hope that, you know, cooler heads prevail and this war does not happen. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be good, y'all.